I wanted to give you a perspective on giving and receiving as a way to help you understand yourself. People tend to consider giving and receiving as two sides of the same coin. They're the same thing but are kind of opposites. And I don't think it's that case at all. I think that receiving is a tremendously egotistical thing, right? Receiving kind of self-validates. It tells you that somehow or other something thinks that you're worth it, yeah, and therefore you have received. Whereas giving, I don't think typically people are giving just because they think the other person is worth it, okay? I think what's going on when you give is far more spiritual, is far more awesome in actual fact. And I want to illustrate this because yesterday I was really out in the wild blue yonder, and I made a video in actual fact about dying, about death, which I did not expect to do. Because in the morning I'd been out to somewhere that was tremendously historic, tremendously archaic, you know, and I discovered these things. They're called Moqui marbles, and a few days earlier I'd been wandering in the steppes of dinosaurs, and the whole thing had got me to contemplate, you know, time, my place in the world, all that kind of stuff. But the reason I wanted to mention this was because I had set out to go and find these Moqui marbles, which are beautiful things, and sure enough they were all over the place. In actual fact, it was very easy to find them. There were hundreds of them. So I find them, yeah. So I received that to myself. It's like, oh, didn't you do well, Chris, sort of thing, and isn't this interesting, and so on and so forth. The thing that I found wondrous, though, absolutely connective, absolutely spiritual, was not the finding them, it was the putting them back. When I put them back, I can't even describe the sensation with words. It was so astounding. But I was at one with the universe. I was handing these things that I didn't understand back to their place where they belonged, where they had been for who knows how long, where they will continue to exist, rolling around with nature for Lord knows how long. And perhaps from time to time, an individual might come across them and contemplate the world like I did. And that act of giving, of returning back to the world, what is the world's, filled me up like a volcano. I felt on top of the world. I felt absolutely wondrous. And I was not expecting to feel anything. I was just expecting to put them back. And that's what got me thinking about this whole concept of what it is to give and to receive. Because, you see, I wasn't even giving to a stated individual. I was giving back to all things. And in so doing, somehow connected with all things. And it was a wild, wild roller coaster of a feeling. So look, this is what I want to talk about when it comes to giving and receiving. You can develop a far, far deeper and richer relationship with others if you start to reconsider what it is to give and to receive. I could give someone the ability to give me something that they would like to. Yeah, if that makes sense. So the giving has nothing to do with the object. The giving is all around abdicating your will to somebody else and letting them decide, letting them choose, giving them that beautiful opportunity. So it may well be that you give them a gift in the hope that it pleases them. But in actual fact, what you're doing is giving them an opportunity to choose, to experience, and hopefully, in your will, that they benefit from that. Yeah? But it's up to them how they deal with it. Right? When you are receiving, you are also choosing to accept something that the other person thinks is good for you, because you are the master of your perceptions and conclusions and not the giver. And so suddenly the whole act of giving and receiving with someone can become a deeply rich and fulfilling, spiritually, emotionally fulfilling experience. And so by contemplating the actual concept of what it is that you would like to give to someone else, and what you would like to receive from someone else, and vice versa, invite them to do the same, you can start to consider what it is that actually has deep down fundamental meaning for you. What has transitory meaning to you? What is chemical? What is cerebral? What is intellectual? And how that all fits into the big scheme of what it is to be you, and how you relate with certain individuals, and how you relate with everything. All that came out from me putting a few rocks back on the ground. All right, take care. Bye.